Today on Muscle Magazine, we'll go to the annual Orange County Muscle Classic, which has earned its reputation as the launching pad for the careers of many of the sport's major stars. Then, Seattle's Emerald Cup Championships, known for the Northwest's better-looking bodies. And to the Eastern America in Long Island, New York, for bodybuilders who think they're ready to challenge the national level for the first time. Then, to the desert region of Phoenix for the Arizona Gold Cup. Yes, there's more than reptiles in the hot Southwest, and you'll see a sizzling 220-pounder that's snaking his way right to the top. In Twinlab Peak Performance, we'll learn more about those popular carbohydrate drinks that have been quenching the thirst of athletes for years. What makes them so beneficial for the active, aspiring weightlifter? Then we'll go to Venice Beach and talk to some professional bodybuilders about their reaction to the sport's newly initiated steroid testing program. Many of them feel that cleaning up the sport will only ruin its popularity and their careers. We'll learn why. In GNC's Nutrition News, Trent Mitchell will tell us about an almost unknown method of ingesting vitamins and minerals. According to some sports physiologists, sublingual absorption makes taking supplements easier, quicker, and more effective. Then, Dutch boy Barry Demay, who placed third in the 1988 Mr. Olympia before an injury took him off the professional competitive circuit. Now he's back and talks with us about his strategy for 1990 as he trains on the big island of Hawaii. And finally, our guest host this month, 1987 national champion and 1990 Ironman Pro winner, Shawn Ray. In the Valio workout, he'll take you through a shoulder training session that Shawn guarantees builds cannonball-sized deltoids. So join us as we go to Racquetball World in Orange, California for another exciting edition of Muscle Magazine. Now, here's your guest host, Shawn Ray.
Hi, I'm Shawn Ray. Welcome to this edition of Muscle Magazine. Well, as you may know, it took me 2 years and 2 tries, but I finally did it. I won my first pro contest, the Ironman Invitational, featured here on Muscle Magazine last month. The competition was stiff, and I guess that's why they call these guys professionals, because they really know what they're doing. But anyways, we got a great show for you here today, which I'm going to top off with one of my Stingray shoulder routines. You don't want to miss it. So stay with us for some more muscle crunching action coming up here on Muscle Magazine.
National Sports Center, your complete hockey source. Brand selection. Guaranteed lowest prices. You think hockey? Think National Sports Center. Your fun starts with us, guaranteed.
Get close to TSN. 1:30 for Davis Cup tennis. Then catch up with Sports Desk. Don't forget the Jays are in the hunt that night live from Skydome. Eat, sleep, shower. Saturday morning, it's English soccer. Then back to Davis Cup tennis. Over to CIAU football. Drop back for Sports Desk. Then up the middle to CFL football. Eat, sleep, shower. Get in gear Sunday morning with live sports car racing from Montreal. More Davis Cup and NFL football. Are you ready?
Welcome back. A long time ago, 5 years to be exact, I was a 19-year-old competitor trying to make my mark on the local level. In order to qualify for the Teenage Nationals, I had entered the Orange County Championships. I went on to win the Teenage Division, and 3 months later, I went on to win the overall championship at the Teenage Nationals. Now, the Orange County Muscle Classic has become a springtime spectacle for bodybuilders and fans alike.
It had been billed as the largest of its kind in the country, the 13th annual Orange County Muscle Classic. And once again, promoter Mike Glass put the same energy and quality effort into making the OC one of the most popular springtime events. The Long Beach Terrace Theater played host to bodybuilding fans from around the region as they came to watch amateurs competing and professional guest posers. Start with the teenage division and the fifth place finisher, 5'10" Todd Tran, who looked like he would win at the pre-judging, but ended up with a fifth place trophy. It was especially disappointing for this student since up until tonight's contest, Todd had won every teenage contest he's entered. Fill out his frame, and this 19-year-old lifter's got the makings of a champion. In fourth place was a first-time competitor, 6', 225-pound Alex Stowell from Long Beach State University. Unfortunately, his symmetry was considered awkward to some of the judges, but he certainly was extremely ripped for a big man. Another first-time competitor was Benicio Garcia from Mission Viejo. Placing third, the 5'11", 202-pound bodybuilder has great competitive potential because of good genetic structure and natural thickness. Benicio says a lot of his bodybuilding abilities come from high school football, wrestling, track, and powerlifting. Todd Lopetegui is a power-packed teen arriving on stage at 5'4" and weighing 170 pounds. Placing second, Todd was probably pound for pound the thickest kid competing, but was a shade too soft to win the overall teenage class. That honor went to 18-year-old Jason Garone, who just watched the Orange County last year and then went to work for it this year. The 5'7" and 185-pounder has got the heart needed to keep pumping and winning. And with another year left of teenage qualification, Jason should be a real threat nationally in 1991 and make his efforts pay off.
Just concentrate more on my skate. That's what I mean. That was my basic thing. And like my main thing I concentrated on. Because I don't really care about how big I get. I care about the shape of the muscle.
And teenage threats are something of a tradition among Orange County winners. 1989 champion Dennis Newman, who gave Jason his first place trophy, went on to win the Team California and USA Championships last year. This year he'll be competing nearly 30 pounds heavier. When the novice division came on stage for introduction, we knew it was much weaker than last year, but there still was plenty of good beginner talent. These guys are usually 20 years of age and over, and most are first-time competitors. One of the most potential people in the division was Angelo Barrios, who competed much lighter than he wanted to by simple over-dieting. Angelo has a broad and symmetrical structure that many judges praise, but like most in the division, he needs to add about 40 pounds to become an impressive amateur on the state and national level. He started his contest diet at 225 pounds, but ended up with only 184 pounds on his 6-foot frame. Angelo trains in the high desert community of Victorville, virtually learning as he goes. So, with some proper guidance and continued serious training, this guy could become a feared competitor. The winner of the novice division was middleweight Carl Dyer from Gardena, California. Although he's been training for 10 years, Carl is a first-time competitor. The 5'5", 175-pounder reached near contest weight and condition as early as 6 months out, which seems to be growing in popularity among competing bodybuilders. Winning the Masters division was 45-year-old Leroy Baxter from Oxnard, California. Leroy maintains a zero-fat diet year-round and trains for a contest like he does any other time of the year. At 5'7", he's been training for 8 years and competing for 7. So, like a lot of Masters bodybuilders, Leroy started lifting weights late, but he's realizing that it's never too late in life to get your body into shape. Into the women's division, a 36-year-old corrections officer took second place in the lightweight class. Laura Shabazz from Tehachapi, California, has competed once before, winning the 1988 California Women's Police Championship. She's 5'2" and weighs 113 pounds. Winning the lightweight class was another first-timer, Sue Farmer, a 35-year-old wife and mother of 3. And talk of dedication. Sue trains an hour and a half per day, then goes home and cooks, sews, and is known as Mom. And if you aren't already tired, the 5'1" lifter is also a school teacher. Our hats are off to you, Sue. Moving to the women's middleweight, Karen Cosbab took second at 5'3", 123 pounds. The former Ms. Natural California winner has been training for 6 years and maintained a vigorous diet and aerobic schedule in preparation. She cut out all fat, ate lots of veggies, and gorged on distilled water. Then came an hour and a half of running or cycling every day. Winning the heavyweight class was attractive Nina Soderling from Los Angeles. You might remember Nina as the winner of the 1989 Iron Maiden held in December. So, in her 2 short years of competing, Nina has notched up some impressive wins. She got into bodybuilding because she was overweight, try 175 pounds on her 5'6" body. Nina entered the contest today at 138 pounds. But it was a walkaway champion in Rhonda Jurgensen, the middleweight class winner, that had the crowd hopping. The 5'3", 121-pounder has been training only 2 years, but her many years of athletics have made bodybuilding an easy transition. But keeping her training even more on track was her boyfriend and trainer, 6'2", 270-pound Jim Bukovic, who is a former champion himself. But did Rhonda really follow Jim's advice?
The day before the show, I wasn't supposed to sugar up too much because I have to be very careful with my weight. And I had almost a whole single food cake and a whole box of seaweed. And I still look good from what he could see, but yet he never did.
It proves that you can cheat just a little during contest preparation and get away with it. Well, at least while you're an amateur. Now to the men's division, where we saw a lot of ripped and conditioned guys competing, but not a lot of size. Take light heavyweight winner Kevin Benson from Santa Clara, California. The 5'10", 32-year-old engineer weighed only 195 pounds, which is probably a little light for his frame. Kevin dieted on high protein, medium carbs, and, all right, a little ice cream every once in a while. He says his training consisted of brutal, intense workouts and a lot of dreaming. Improving at martial arts was Kevin's reason for getting into bodybuilding, but he told us that he's trained a lifetime for this show. In the heavyweights, another lean and mean bodybuilder took the class. 6', 205-pound Robert Johnson has been an athletic guy since high school. He even played 2 years of pro ball for the old USFL, and 4 years ago got into bodybuilding to rehabilitate a football injury. The middleweight and overall trophy went to Ernest Miller, a 30-year-old personal trainer from Escondido, California. The 5'7", 173-pounder was ripped beyond anyone else on stage, due in part to his pre-contest aerobic routine. The 30-year-old bodybuilder got into the sport basically like most do, to improve his overall appearance.
Well, I experimented throughout my short bodybuilding career. Quite a few diets. The last one I've done, I was mainly maintain a high protein, high carbohydrate diet, so I can maintain as much muscle mass as possible.
Well, when it comes to appearance, how about desk poser, Ms. Olympia runner-up, Sandy Riddell? This Phoenix firefighter went from an amateur in competitive obscurity to a professional in the bodybuilding world spotlight. She's one of the mightiest in the sport with a 500-pound squat. Amazing. And at 5'6", she competes at 145 pounds and seems to have fun intimidating her competition into embarrassment. When we first featured Sandy back in February last year, she was an unknown player on the muscle scene. Now, after nipping at Ms. Olympia Corey Everson and her resolution not to compete again to defend her crown, some experts in the sport are saying that it will be a match between Sandy, Venice-based Laura Cravel, and Bavarian-trained Anya Longer for the first new Ms. Olympia since 1985. If the judges like that massive and conditioned look, it'll be Riddell. If they sway to the slightly less dominant and more athletic look, it'll be Cravel. But if they condone the more feminine and sleek figure design, it'll be Longer, without a New York audience doubt. Regardless of the next Ms. Olympia contest, Sandy was warmly received in Long Beach by the Orange County Championship crowd. Now from the beauty to the beast, the next guest poser was Mammoth Pro Johnny Morant from New Jersey. He put the audience into awe with a 5'11" body amassed with 255 pounds of mature muscle. Remember, he's not even in contest shape yet, but surely needs to lose nothing more than 10 pounds. Since winning the '89 North America, Johnny has trained for sheer muscle size and is heading to the Night of Champions for his pro debut. He'll be up against the likes of Eddie Robinson, Steve Brisbow, and a contingency of new European pros that are as fresh to the circuit as Johnny himself. But unfortunately for them, not many are going to even begin to compare with his size and shape. Account for Johnny's 22-inch arms, 60-inch chest, 29-inch waist, 31-inch legs, and 20-inch calves. This guy's flawless, and soon even Mr. Haney will have to contend with him. So, who do you bring on next, Mr. Glass? What guest poser could woo better than USA champion Eddie Robinson, the owner of the physique that is fastly becoming... on stage at 27 pounds, and runs 5'7" inches. He estimates that he'll have to lose only about 10 more time to compete in his pro debut in Niagara Falls later this month. Eddie has been traveling. giving seminars for gyms and health clubs. His preceding him as one of the most genuine and helpful professionals in bodybuilding. His training regimen has been consistent since his USA win, so preparing for the pro level hasn't been all that tough. And Eddie tells us that his intensity is steady and his mind is focused on becoming the best in the sport. He will soon join Muscle Magazine's new 900 number, the Bodybuilder's Hotline, beginning next month, and offer his training tips to bodybuilders and fans across the country.
Yep, those were the days. I can't believe how far this competition has come. Stay with us as we bring you more exciting contest coverage just ahead.
Daddy?
Yes, dear.
Is there cholesterol in these french fries?
Is there what?
You know, cholesterol.
Oh, you mean cholesterol?
Yeah?
No, honey. These are McCain super fries. They're cholesterol-free. Want some?
Daddy?
Yes, dear.
I'm glad we had this little chat.
Great tasting McCain French fries from the oven. Cholesterol-free for the whole family.
Welcome back. Each month, Muscle Magazine brings you the best contest highlights from coast to coast. This month, we'll fly on up to Seattle for the Emerald Cup. Then we'll trot on over to New York for the Eastern USA. And finally, it's on to Phoenix for the Arizona Gold Cup.
First, we visit the breathtaking skyline of Seattle, a perfect setting for what has become the premier bodybuilding competition in the Northwest, the Emerald Cup Championship. The historic Fifth Avenue Theater played host for the evening's competition, with the women taking center stage. It began with the winner of the lightweight class, 29-year-old Jeannie Heidloff, and at 5 foot even and 100 pounds, she was the smallest competitor. Jeannie sports an impressive background in athletics, most recently in track and field at Portland State University, where her husband-to-be recruited her into the gym. She came into the show lean at only 7% body fat and feels that this was her best presentation ever. Jeannie will incorporate powerlifting into her training program to add a little more size as she pursues her occupation as a cardiac ultrasound technician. First in the middleweight class went to 5 foot 117-pound Donna Fortier, who struck gold in this, her third Emerald Cup try. The 24-year-old normally competes in the lightweight class, but became sick a week out and couldn't train to make the weight class. Donna told us that she's a quick size gainer thanks to her slow metabolism, but that it also hinders her when she cuts up for competition. She admitted that she was holding water and needed to be harder, especially in her legs, but her balanced shape and full muscle tie-ins pulled out the class win. Winning the heavyweight class and the overall title was 5 foot 7 inch, 145-pound Shelly Beatty from Corvallis, Oregon. This gorgeous 22-year-old has an extensive dance background and has been working out for over 9 years. Shelly is partially deaf and used amplified music during her routine, but she says it actually helped her to focus and concentrate better on stage. She intensified her training, dieting, and mental preparation for the Emerald Cup, and at the same time working 2 full-time jobs assisting handicapped children. Shelly is obviously a well-balanced individual, not only with her incredible body, but in her life as well.
I really try on taking things one step at a time, and I really work from within out, not from the outside in, because it's really important to be strong and whole all over your mind. To have a job, to have an occupation other than bodybuilding is very important to me because I need to be whole. I can't just do this and this is it.
In the junior men's division, an impressive 20-year-old lit up the stage. Joe Kobar is originally from Budapest, Hungary, but has been living in Seattle for the past 2 years. His 5 foot 11 inch, 185 pounds was built completely natural, and he prides himself on the accomplishment. He was introduced to weightlifting at the age of 12 in his homeland, but it wasn't until he was 16 that he decided to compete in the Mr. Hungary competition. Joe feels that the American bodybuilders have everything they need, and that they should appreciate what they have, much like Joe does. In the open division, the lightweight class went to 30-year-old Lauren Gill from Spokane, Washington. At 5 foot 3 and 154 pounds, Lauren felt he was in his best shape ever. He was hard and very vascular, but needs to improve his upper chest and lower back. Lauren has been competing for over 7 years, and in December of '89, he traveled to Moscow where he captured the lightweight class at a Soviet-American exhibition. He's also planning on stepping up to the national level to compete against the big little guys. Winning the middleweight class was 24-year-old Richard Whitley, a third-class petty officer in the Navy, stationed on the USS Nimitz. At 5'6" and 165 pounds, Richard has been training for over 5 years, yet this was his second competition. Along with having good symmetry, he has the ability to cut up fast, but he plans on putting on more mass and competing at the upper end of the middleweight class, closer to the 176-pound mark. Richard came 1 vote short of taking the overall title, but the tiebreaker was awarded to heavyweight winner Davis McGinty, a 35-year-old gym owner from Portland. Davis played high school football and wrestled and began hitting the weights to strengthen a bad shoulder, which he had dislocated over 12 different times. That's when he got hooked on the individualism of bodybuilding, and his goal of bettering his physique from contest to contest culminated here at the Emerald Cup. Davis is still learning what works best for his physique in his diet, training, and mental preparation for competition. It looks as if he's found a winning formula.
I carried the mass around before or at the earlier stage of the diet, but I didn't know how to maintain it. So now I've learned, several ways, at least the right way to maintain the mass at the time you're dieting.
From the Great Northwest, we travel to the East Coast and the Eastern USA Bodybuilding Championships in Hempstead, New York. Making his competitive debut was 21-year-old Rob Russo from Long Island. At 5'6" and 164 pounds, Rob trained 3 years before deciding to compete, and he made it pay off as he captured the novice lightweight and overall title. When he's not in the gym, you can find him in the college classroom studying business and nutrition, obviously preparing for his next competition diet and the business know-how to manage all the money that this dynamo may end up making in bodybuilding. In the open middleweight division, 33-year-old Eddie Valdivieso presented his 5'7", 173 pounds in prime form. This truck driver from Hoboken, New Jersey, has been training for the last 6 years, and after consecutive second-place finishes at the Gold's Classic and Suburban Championship, he was ready for a win. Eddie has a background in martial arts and plans on hitting the national level later this year. Winning the light heavyweight and overall crown was a 23-year-old college student from Yonkers, New York. Ronnie Cale used to showcase his talents on the gridiron and began training to strengthen his 5'11", 194-pound frame. But soon the bodybuilding bug bit, and after 6 years of training, Ronnie won the Westchester, New York Championships, his first show ever, then turned around and took the Eastern USA. Not bad for a beginner. Well, from New York, we go to the deserts of Phoenix. Just ahead is the best from the Arizona Gold Cup. Stay with us.
If you don't have the protection of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze, you could end up with problems. This neglected radiator is blocked solid with rust and corrosion. Prestone has a powerful patented formula to help protect your radiator against rust and corrosion and help it last longer. Prestone Advanced Formula protects so well, we guarantee it.
The evolution of a champion. Raw talent must be recognized. Then it must be harnessed and shaped, yet maintaining the spirit which separates it from the rest. Champions meet at the Mohawk Raceway in Campbellville for the $700,000 Metro Pace Harness Race for 2-year-olds. See exciting racing action Saturday, 10:30 Eastern. The Metro Pace, here on TSN.
Welcome back. A growing hotbed of bodybuilding is in the Phoenix area. So our crew went to the Arizona Gold Cup, the state's largest competition, to check out these desert bodies.
The state of Arizona has quickly become one of the nation's hottest bodybuilding factories. And quality regional competitions like the Arizona Gold Cup have had a lot to do with this reputation. Over 75 athletes kicked this extravaganza into gear, including an impressive father-son duo from Phoenix. Tom Hicks Sr. has been bodybuilding for over 20 years. He's a former Mr. Arizona and Masters Arizona champion, and at the age of 43, he's still going strong. In fact, this 5'6", 175-pounder was thrilled when his son decided to get into the sport. Tom Hicks Jr. won the overall novice competition, and at 6'1", 196 pounds, he has the frame to do some real damage down the line. The 22-year-old is studying business at Phoenix College and has been training with his dad for the past 4 years. Father and son are not only partners, but best friends too. And it was quite a thrill to see them compete on the same stage.
I am very proud of my accomplishment. And also, by me doing so well, it has gotten my son involved also.
And by watching him, it influenced me to pursue the bodybuilding career. And this being my first show, you know, he's helped me quite a bit. And it's just been great having a father like him.
In the women's open division, Scottsdale's own Leslie Key took the top lightweight honors with her 5'2", 110-pound shape. At 36 years of age, Leslie is married and the mother of 2, but she still finds time to work and train, including speed walking and biking as her aerobic exercises. As a natural competitor, Leslie felt she should have dieted longer and would like to put on more quality size, but she is confident of her body's appearance and looks forward to future competitions. Up to the heavyweight class and second place winner, Lisa Reiser from Tempe. The 24-year-old is in her senior year as a communications major at Arizona State University and has only been bodybuilding since last summer. Lisa stands 5'3" and at 125 pounds felt good about her shape. She would like to get her legs tighter and more cut, but she has a good chest and back and would like to eventually move up to the national level. Winning the heavyweight class was 25-year-old Ann Golden, a graphic artist from Scottsdale. In 1988, Ann was preparing for her first contest, but was involved in a car accident the day before the show. So this was the first official competition for the 5'3", 135-pounder. Ann admits that dieting is the hardest part of her preparation, but with continued support from her boyfriend, sorry guys, she'll be taking a shot at the national ranks. Now, back to the middleweights for the class and overall champion, Misty Davis, a 29-year-old from Phoenix. Misty says she's always been athletic and cut too, but once she started bodybuilding 2 years ago, she really learned what the word cut meant. At 5'7" and 127 pounds, she was in top form for the contest, but feels she still needs to work on her abdominals and calves. Misty also told us that she made a few adjustments during her contest preparation, specifically in her diet.
About 4 weeks out from the contest, I was peaking too early, and so it's funny now, but it was scary at the time because I had to change my complete diet. I had to add calories and increase everything that I was doing, and it was just scary, but it worked.
In the men's division, the bantamweight class went to Henry Cruz, a 5'5", 146-pounder from Phoenix. This 18-year-old has been bodybuilding for 4 years and attributes a lot of his development to his occupation as an apprentice plasterer. Henry needs to bring up his calves and hamstrings some, but remember, he's only 18 years old and has plenty of time to put on size. His goal is to turn pro by the age of 21, and we wish him the best of luck. He's already won the Teenage Arizona title twice. Winning the middleweight class and overall title was 32-year-old David Griffiths from Phoenix. At 5'7" and 175 pounds, he showed the best balance and symmetry in the show and was pleased with the win after 3 attempts here at the Gold Cup. David finished second last year, and that motivated him to keep getting better and better for this show.
Last year I got second and it was real close, so this year I thought I could do win the middleweight title, and I did. So I was real happy with it.
Now to the Goliath of the competition and heavyweight winner, Darren Llewellyn, also from Phoenix. At 5'10" and 225 pounds, he showed an impressive package of muscle mass, which he has patiently built up over the past 8 years. Darren got into the sport after stints in both high school football and wrestling, but since winning the 1983 Teenage Arizona, he hadn't won a contest. He is preparing for the 91 Nationals and is working to bring up his only 2 weaknesses, lower back and calves. Darren has great muscle roundness due in part to small joints and bone structure, muscle-to-joint attachments, and from sheer grueling workouts. In Phoenix, where bodybuilding is still relatively new and growing, he is somewhat of a spectacle within the fitness community and in high demand as a personal fitness trainer. After all, it's kind of hard to miss Darren at his off-season weight of over 260 pounds, attracting attention. Isn't that what it's all about?
Well, I'm sure after pumping iron for hours in those infamous hot Arizona summers, the nearest water cooler becomes the busiest place in the gym. In this month's Twinlab Peak Performance segment, Dr. Michael Colgan tells us of a liquid replacement fluid formulated for the active body.
Carbohydrates taken before and during performance spare muscle glycogen. Muscle glycogen is the main source of energy for muscle use. However, taking of solid foods such as fig bars, bananas, impair water absorption, and the main requirement in exercise is for water. Even 1% dehydration inhibits muscle use. So the taking of solid food is dying out, and the alternative is carbohydrate replacement drinks. The problem with a lot of sports drinks is they also inhibit water absorption. That's because they contain the simple sugars, glucose and sucrose. In one study in the Research Quarterly, a 10% glucose solution was compared with plain water. In 45 minutes, all of the water had emptied from the stomach. But in the same period, less than half the sugar solution had emptied. So if you use sugar drinks before and during weight training, you are dehydrating your muscles and inhibiting their performance. Sports drinks containing fructose are much better. Fructose allows better absorption of water than glucose and also has the added advantage of maintaining blood sugar stability. The latest development in carbohydrate replacement drinks is polymerized glucose. This is made by chaining together the molecules of glucose into a long chain to make a complex carbohydrate. These allow better absorption of water than either fructose or glucose. At the Colgan Institute, we examined the carbohydrate replacement effect on 6 cyclists who used a glucose polymer drink compared with 5 cyclists who used only water. The cyclist using the glucose polymer cycled 100-mile training ride and finished without difficulty. The cyclist using water finished the ride near exhaustion. So, if you're looking for a good sports drink, look for a drink that is predominantly glucose polymers with a small percentage of fructose. I'm Dr. Michael Colgan, and this has been another peak performance from Twinlab, right here on Muscle Magazine.
And that's good stuff. Now, as you may already know, steroid testing has been instituted at the pro levels this year. It's pretty controversial, so you won't want to miss what's coming up next. We'll talk to some of the world's best bodybuilders and get their opinions on this new policy. You might be surprised by their comments.
Wayne, to me, is like the head of the IFBB pro athletes. He should do something about it to help eliminate those guys being suspended or work with them. I mean, we have an IFBB clinic, so why can't we all work together and create better guidelines for the athletes?
Get to Harvey's before October 14th, and you're in for a very big surprise. It's Harvey's Big Deal. You get a big, juicy, charbroiled Harvey's hamburger. You get to top it off with a big, and I do mean big, beautiful choice of toppings. You get a big bunch of golden French fries. And until October 14th, you'll get the big deal for the little price of just $3.09. And to make the big deal even bigger, Harvey's will throw in a big 11-piece Rolo for free. Well, what are you waiting for? Harvey's. Beautiful choice.
Every year they hit the books and study hard. CIAU football on TSN. TSN has a class of 9 battling their way throughout the year for a bid at the national championship. TSN has a full season of college ball, including playoff finals, and all the excitement that is the Vanier Cup. It's CIAU football as the BC Thunderbirds try to thrash the Saskatchewan Huskies Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, right here on TSN.
Steroid been a major topic of discussion in bodybuilding circles, but this year it's exceptionally controversial since both the IFBB and the NPC organizations have implemented random drug testing at selective competitions. But what about the bodybuilders? Do they really want to compete steroid-free? David Zelon joins us from Gold's Gym in Venice, California.
Well, Shawn, as bodybuilding rolls into the 90s, the most significant change the sport will see is steroid testing men's bodybuilding on both the amateur and professional levels. In 1990, the IFBB has slated 2 top pro contests for steroid testing, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic and the Mr. Olympia. Testing the men is a hotly debated issue that's given rise to some serious concerns. Can the bodybuilders still get huge and ripped without the benefit of steroids? How will audiences react if the athletes are smaller and less freaky than they used to seeing? And will this lead to disappointed fans and slower ticket sales at professional competitions? The most important question, though, is how are the athletes going to react to this important new change that's occurring in their sport?
To be a professional, you have to be in training for some time and you have to win a lot of contests. And during this time, you gain a lot of experience. And I think, personally, in my opinion, that steroids is like the thing of the past. I don't think that anybody's going to be hurt in the long run. For more than one reason, I think everybody will benefit.
Bodybuilding is the key for every sport, without a doubt. Now, just because we have more muscle than any other athlete, you know how hard we work. You heard that, huh? We all work very hard for our muscle, okay? Now, wrestler, track and field athletes, swimmers, there's so many athletes out there, basketball players, they're taking anabolic steroids and heavily. Do they have a big muscle? They don't have big muscle. You know that for a fact. They don't have a huge muscle. But always we are the ones to be blamed as a steroid monster. I was never a steroid monster. I never had an abnormal liver enzyme. I've always checked myself and I made sure that I'm healthy. And, people should realize that bodybuilders aren't a steroid monster. That's really, I wanted to clear that out.
I want to train totally clean this year. First of all, I don't want to take a risk because, you never know if you stop a certain time, if you are clean, if you pass that test. So for me, the most important thing is that I be clean this year. So again, that's why I answered my first question. For me, it's a challenge.
A lot of us go in the gym and we've been training 10, 12, 13 years, just training real hard and heavy. I train hard and heavy all year long. I never change my training technique. I'm always training with heavy weight. You see a lot of guys who come in that start training real light. Those are the guys who are going to suffer. If they do the testing right, they should be testing periodically throughout the year. Random testing is the only way you're going to stop people from using steroids completely. Otherwise, you will find people who are going to try to calculate exactly when they can use it and when they can get off of it.
IFBB should develop some guidelines. Wayne Demay is like the head of the IFBB pro athlete. He should do something about it to help eliminate those guys being suspended or work with them. We have an IFBB clinic, so why can't we all work together and create better guidelines for the athletes? We are the sport. The Barry DeMills, the Robbie Roberts, the Lee Haney, Lee LeBron, we are the sport. So why not protect those guys? Why not protect their name? Why not protect their career? Allow them a chance to come down off of whatever they're using. Let that be guidelines. It's been going on too long. The guys are professional athletes. They're not amateurs.
So while drug testing is getting a lot of support from the general public and the bodybuilding federations that are implementing it, the athletes still have a lot of unanswered questions as to its effectiveness and whether or not it can be fair for everyone across the board. Shawn, what do you think about that?
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, they're positive and they're negatives. Hopefully the governing bodies will take charge and clean up the sport. Speaking from experience, the best policy is to just say no. Now, one of the pros we just heard from is Barry DeMay, and he's this month's Cybergenic Star Profile. Barry's coming back from a chest injury he suffered last year. He's currently training for the first drug-tested Mr. Olympia contest. We recently caught up with him on the Big Island of Hawaii.
The Big Island of Hawaii is known for its tropical breezes, glowing sunsets, and raging volcanoes, and now for bodybuilding, because here in Kailua Kona lies the Big Island Gym, home of Hawaiian fitness seminars. The gym's owners began this mini bodybuilding camp along with pro bodybuilder Mario Celine and husband Hanu. And by incorporating daily activities along with some heavy-duty training seminars, they came up with a winning formula.
There is a good bodybuilder's gym in Hawaii. You can learn by watching other people work out. The benefits for them is they're able to come over and relax and actually have a good time. Benefits for the people taking the seminars, they get to meet people they've always put on pedestal and idolized.
The camp most recently featured Dutch superstar Barry Demay, who after a serious chest injury is on the road back to the Olympia stage where he took third in 1988.
Every workout is pretty intense. I've got the theory that whenever I don't really feel like training, I don't train. But the thing with me is, even after 11 years of working out on this level, I'm surprised myself. My motivation is like even increasing and growing, and every morning as I wake up, I like to train.
And the people who come here to Hawaii love to train with their bodybuilding idols.
To actually be here training with professionals like Mario Saline and Barry Demay, it somehow has more meaning, and I think that we can take what we've learned very seriously.
Well, I feel the one-on-one contact with him is what really makes this camp special. It just seems like it sets it apart from all the other camps. You can go up to him and talk to him, and you don't feel nervous about taking up this time for the other campers. These small individuals visualize. So
we are really able, the way it's set up, to get to know the people like on a personal level, and try to adapt our knowledge as far as the nutrition, the training period of a week.
Barry says he's definitely motivated to compete again after the layoff, and from the looks of his physique, we tend to agree with him. But even after his competition days are over, he plans to continue training and conducting seminars, especially if they're in Hawaii, to keep both his body and his mind in top condition. For Muscle Magazine, I'm Dave Fiorazzo.
Why spend hours on your car when you can give your car a bumper-to-bumper shine in just 20 minutes? One application of Liquid Luster can increase the value of your car by thousands of dollars. Look at this lighter fluid burn, yet the car looks like new. Spray paint comes right off with practically no effort. Liquid Luster protects chrome and makes it shine in seconds. You can do 4 cars with 1 bottle of Liquid Luster. Order your Liquid Luster now, and as a special bonus, get enough Nathan's Concentrated Car Wash to do 12 cars. Washing cars is quick and easy with Nathan's Car Wash. You'll also receive a bottle of Nathan's Special Vinyl Luster. It cleans leather and restores upholstery in seconds. Order now, and as a second bonus, get a second bottle of Liquid Luster. All this for just $39.95. You'll receive enough Liquid Luster to wax 8 cars, wash and clean 12 cars, enough vinyl and leather restore to do 20 cars. There's nothing on the market that cleans, protects, and shines like Liquid Luster. It's the original car care package everyone needs. Liquid Luster gives you a glass-like shine that will last.
Liquid Luster is now available in Canada. Stop wasting time and energy with waxes that make car care hard work. Give your car the look of a beautiful factory-delivered new car. Call the number on your screen and use MasterCard or Visa, or send check or money order for $39.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown. Call now and give your car lasting protection with Liquid Luster. The wet look shines. 30 days, money back guarantee.
Oh, sorry. You caught me. Just warming up for my shoulder routine coming up later. But first, Trent Mitchell joins us with another GNC Nutrition news. This month, Trent covers a method of taking supplements that is rapidly growing in popularity: sublingual ingestion.
They're called sublinguals, supplements and vitamins that come in liquid form and are dropped directly beneath the tongue. Now, this is a relatively new concept in nutrient packaging that focuses on speed of absorption, efficiency, and quality. Doctors have long used sublingual ingestion as a way for patients to quickly get medication into their bloodstream. The liquid absorbs through the membranes underneath the tongue and usually takes effect in no longer than 2 to 3 minutes. The liquid is often alcohol-based to help speed the absorption process. In contrast, it usually takes the digestive system at least 10 minutes before it can assimilate capsules or tablets into the bloodstream. Some vitamin supplement companies, like Basic Organics, have taken advantage of the speed sublinguals offered by packaging complete lines of nutrients in liquid form for the bodybuilder. The Liquid Power Sports Supplement line contains 12 different products, including amino acids, Smilax, and other natural ingredients. Sublinguals like these offer another advantage. The acids and enzymes the digestive system produces to break down foods can actually destroy some of the supplements contained in capsule, powder, or tablet form. Since sublinguals are absorbed before they reach the stomach, the gastrointestinal fluids don't get a chance to negatively affect the supplement. There are some things to keep in mind when you use sublinguals. American Medical Athletic Association President Dr. Ron Lawrence says more and more athletes are turning to sublinguals, and he agrees they are fast, saying it's almost like taking a shot. But he says there is a possibility that continued use can irritate the membranes under the tongue, which can lead to canker sores. The manufacturer of Powerline Series says he has not heard of such a case. In addition, Dr. Lawrence says athletes can obtain bigger and still safe doses of some of the products, like ginseng, by taking them in capsule or tablet form. And, as with many new concepts in nutrition, sublinguals tend to be more expensive than similar products in capsule and tablet form. There's no doubt that sublingual supplementation offers athletes a quicker way to get nutrients into their system without the dangers of injection. But, like with any other form of supplementation, stick to the recommended dosage and realize that no form of supplementation could ever take the place of a healthy diet. Till next time, I'm Trent Mitchell for Muscle Magazine.
Daddy?
Yes, dear.
Is there cholesterol in these French fries?
Is there what?
You know, cholesterol.
Oh, you mean cholesterol?
Well?
No, honey. These are McCain Super Fries. They're cholesterol-free. Want some?
Daddy?
Yes, dear.
I'm glad we had this little chat.
Great tasting McCain French fries from the oven. Cholesterol-free for the whole family.
Are you ready for non-stop action? TSN holds the line in the hottest season of football. From ground to air, we've got you covered coast to coast. The CFL on TSN. We've got seats on the 50-yard line for the Battle of the Big Cats. The BC Lions bring new blood into Ivor Wynne Stadium to attack the Ticats. TSN brings you the action live from Hamilton. The Lions and the Ticats, Saturday, 7:30 Eastern on the Molson CFL Game of the Week.
At ICG in Heil, we know Canadians demand trouble-free heating throughout the winter. That's why these two great names in home comfort have joined together to offer a choice of dependable, high-efficiency gas furnaces like the Ultimate 3, with a manufacturer's extended 5-year parts and labor warranty, the envy of the industry. Discover why more Canadians choose ICG and Heil heating products for their homes. ICG and Heil, the comforting choice for Canadian homes.
Hey, are you just about ready for this month's Vallejo workout? Today we have shoulders. Don't be too concerned with the amount of weights I'm using. She may be able to use more or less. Are you ready to tear these shoulders apart? Come with me. We'll get busy. The shoulder is made up of front, side, and rear deltoid heads. And my first exercise, standing side laterals, focuses on the side or the lateral deltoid head. I begin by keeping my elbows slightly bent and raise the weight out to my side, to about eye level. Be sure to control the movement at all times, and don't worry about using a lot of weight. Instead, concentrate on good form and full contractions. This mass-building exercise really adds to the illusion of overall shoulder width. When you're on stage, the first thing the judges look for are nicely capped delts and tie-ins to the tricep. After completing 4 sets of 15 reps, my delts are burning. My next exercise is dumbbell shoulder shrugs. I use dumbbells for fuller range of motion, and also because it allows each delt to act independently of each other. This exercise really nails my trapezius, or traps, and also allows the rear portion of the delt to be worked to some degree. I also use as heavy a weight as possible. Therefore, I have to use wrist straps because it saves my grip. Notice how slow and methodical this movement actually is. I allow the weights to stretch the whole muscle group out. Then I squeeze everything upward, trying to touch my shoulders to my ears. It's incredible how this simple movement can burn the muscle so deeply and create full and rounded traps, which are so essential to shoulder development. Again, I do about 4 sets, 15 reps, and I'm more than ready to move on. The next exercise is a variation of the staple of all shoulder movements, the overhead press. I like to perform these exercises on the Smith machine, not only for added safety, but also because it allows me to utilize stricter form. I start with a shoulder width grip. I press the weight in back of my neck, which targets the posterior or rear portion of the deltoid. I also try to keep my lower back arched throughout the movement, which keeps me from cheating and places all the emphasis on the shoulders where it belongs. You may be wondering why I'm doing this mass building exercise third in my routine. Well, mainly because I don't follow any set routine. I like to train instinctively, and these movements can be performed in any rotation or any order. 4 sets of 15 repetitions, and I can barely lift my arms over my head. The final delt exercise hits the often neglected area, the posterior or rear deltoid head. Bent over laterals are the exact reverse of dumbbell flies. I start the movement by bending at the waist until my upper body is parallel with the floor. With my palms facing each other, I raise the weights directly out to the sides. I literally crunch my shoulder blades together to get the fullest possible contraction. And this exercise can be felt throughout the rear delt, all the way into the inner back. The hardest part of this movement is to keep yourself from rocking and cheating the weights up. To avoid this, I lock my body at the waist, and I slightly bend my knees to take the pressure off my lower back. The bent over lateral is a great way to finish up and achieve massive, ripped, and balanced delts.
Now that's what I call getting busy the hard way. My shoulders are burning.
If you'd like to learn more about my training styles, or any of the champions you see here featured on Muscle Magazine,
write to us. We'd love to hear from you.
If you're a teenager, novice, or open-level competitor, or you just have a great-looking body and would like to be seen on TV, send us a photograph of yourself, or even a VHS video. We'll review every photo and video submitted. So send them to Muscle Magazine, P.O. Box 40, Rosemead, California, 91770. We'll be back in just a moment.